So, hi, everyone. Welcome to the Team 360 call. It is Monday, December 21st, almost Christmas. I'm Jenny Hobbs, and I'm going to be hosting this call. So today I'm super excited because we're going to have Archana talking, and Archana is a super new coach. She's only been a coach for less than 3 months, and she works part-time as a doctor in the emergency department, and she has 2 kids, so she's pretty busy. And when I first asked her to be a coach, well, first she said she had to think about it. But once she decided, she said, well, I'll be a hobby coach. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see what that means. And then the next thing I know, she's in my Coach Basics, and she's doing every assignment every day. And then the next thing I know, she hit, I think it was Success Club 14. And then in November, which is traditionally like super slow month, she hit Success Club 20. And it seemed like every day she was texting me another person that was signing up, keeping me on my toes. And then December now, she's at, I think she said Success Club 11 already. So she's locked in 3 straight months at Success Club 10, which is incredible. It's a feat for anybody, but I think especially when you're new to the business, it's very difficult to do. And I think especially in the 3rd month, people find that things kind of peter out. And it's December, which we were just discussing, has been crickets for a lot of us. So because of all that, we asked Archana to talk a little bit about, just to share some of the things that have been working for her, which I think will be super helpful for the newer coaches, because I know sometimes you guys hear us talking who've been doing this for a long time, and it kind of feels like we're in a different place. But as a newer coach, kind of just ask her to share what things have been working well, so maybe you can take some tips and ideas for the future. So I think, with that said, Archana, if you want to get started a little bit, I'll mute everybody.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I think I've kind of met everybody, at least through the group pages and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to see everyone on this call as well. Honestly, I'm going to say that I really learned everything that I know about coaching from Jenny. I mean, essentially, I think I even joined first as just a discount coach, and I kind of felt like my life was too busy, and I didn't really think I had enough time to do this. And somehow, I was like, okay. And then I think I realized I did actually have time, because I was trying to get this promotion at work, and the timing just wasn't right. So I decided then I was going to go ahead and go for it and be a hobby coach. And then I guess I'm like more of a business builder at this point. I'm not really quite sure where I'm falling at this point, but so I mean, basically, I did the Coach Basics and was just trying to follow, the assignments that Jenny had put out in the Coach Basics, and started doing the personal development right away. And actually, I've been kind of doing that for a while before even signing up as a coach, because actually inspired by Jenny once again, because she had posted in my challenge group in the challenge group that I was in with Jenny, about the slight edge. And once I read or actually listened to that audiobook, it kind of just changed a lot of things for me, and just kind of made me understand the importance of daily discipline, and just with everything. I'm not just about coaching, but just with my fitness, with like things I'm working on with my kids, with learning a new language, like everything that I'm trying to do in my life. It's just really about the daily discipline. And I think that had just really stuck in my head. And, and then just that book also talks about doing every day 10 minutes of personal development. So I had started kind of doing that before even becoming a coach. And I feel like, I know you guys hear this a million times over, and I'm so glad that everyone reminds each other of it. But I really think that personal development is like one of the key things here with being a coach, and getting through like the rough times, because I've definitely had some times where, I remember when we were at the end of November, I was just, it was Thanksgiving, and I was just trying to, we were actually in this fall classic team, Jenny, Ciara, and I were trying to push for a certain prize. And we just kept inviting. And I was like actually starting to get a little down about the fact that nobody was responding. But and that's when the personal development kind of kept me going, because I would just think about some of the things that I had read. I guess, to be quite honest, like the main things that I've been doing are like just posting frequently on my Facebook page about like the workouts I'm doing. I'll post sometimes about Shakeology. I'll post inspirational things. I'll post recipes. And one of the things I do whenever I do post about a workout, or whenever I post about, trying to invite people to a challenge group, one of the main things I'll do is whatever likes I get on that post, I'll usually go to those people who liked my post and send them a quick message on Messenger and be like, just, hey, how you doing? And, just maybe mention something. Oh, I like this picture that you posted about your kids, or that recent vacation you went on. It looked amazing. And then I'll say, by the way, thanks for liking my post about getting fit. And would you by chance be interested in joining me in a 30-day fitness challenge? If you're interested, let me know. I can fill you in on details. And then we kind of start the conversation from there. And overall, that's been really working quite well for me, because, sometimes it's like the same people over and over liking my posts. So I've already asked them, or they've maybe joined my challenge group, but then sometimes there are some new people who like my posts, and I'll ask them, and it's just kind of like I know that they're interested in fitness, or there's something that's they're liking about what I'm saying. There's something that's kind of piquing their interest. So I kind of feel like that's a good natural way to follow those kind of leads. And then I kind of just start a conversation with them, through Messenger. But one huge thing that I found is, that if I get a chance to talk to them on the phone, the chance of them saying yes and signing up for a challenge pack is a lot higher. Like I've found that the percentages are way higher. I think my first month in October, like every single person that I spoke to on the phone about what the challenge group was and about what program would be best for them, like signed up with me. And pretty similar kind of response as well in November. So, what I'll do, I won't just like call them randomly, but as I'm messaging them, like once we get into the conversation a little bit, about, I'll say, let's try to set up a time to talk on the phone, and I'll just say it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. And then we'll set up a time to talk, and I'll call them or they'll call me, and we'll just talk. And then whatever we talk about on the phone usually gets them really excited and wanting to sign up. And some of the times they'll sign up without even asking me anything about how much it costs or this or that. They're just like ready to go, and they want it. I think that works really well, because they get to hear my voice, they get to hear my enthusiasm about it. I get to answer all their questions or reservations that they may have. And they just know, I don't know, most of the people I've invited are people who know me, but there were a few people who, like one was one of my husband's coworker. There were a couple of people who didn't know me that well, but I think it was really helpful for them to talk to me on the phone, because then they knew I was just like a real person, and that I wasn't just some random salesperson or something, So I think that was actually really helpful. And I would say that's really been a huge factor in my success with the past couple of months. However, I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible to get people to sign up over text message and whatnot. I just find like my fingers get cramped up after all that typing. It's just like so much back and forth. There's so many questions people have. And I mean, I will say that I definitely have had people sign up with challenge packs just by communicating via text. But I've had way more no's that way than I've had yeses that way. And the opposite with the phone calls. Like I've had way more yeses than no's with phone calls. So if you get a chance to, set up a time to talk with people, I would definitely recommend that.
And interrupt you really quick.
Oh yeah, sure.
Do you have a system that you use on the phone with people, or do you just kind of play it by ear with?
I can't really say that I have a system. I mean, I just kind of talk to, I kind of let them set the tone. If they're just like, if they're like, well, I don't have time to talk, let's just tell me the information and just, because some of the people, like, I'll try to small talk a little bit at first just because I don't want to seem real salesy and stuff. But if I'm getting the feeling like, okay, they just have 10 minutes and they just want to talk real quick and that's it, then, then I'll go for it. But I just kind of go with their questions. We talk about pretty much all aspects of how it works. We talk about the fitness. Is it a home program? How many workouts I have to do? How long are the workouts? Like, it's like all the normal questions you're going to get, what's the nutrition plan like? What's Shakeology? I mention it all, like I always talk about, how I love Shakeology and what it's done for me and that kind of thing. And I even sometimes mention that my husband's drinking it just kind of for that extra, like, it's not just me. But I always talk about that because obviously, one of the goals is to get people to get a challenge pack with Shakeology, at least when they start. So, I just kind of cover everything, the fitness, the nutrition, and Shakeology and support, of course, and that's where, talking to them on the phone makes them realize they're going to get good support from you, I think, because, I feel like nowadays, like, I hardly get any phone calls from my friends. It's like such a rare thing nowadays that, like, if someone actually calls me, like, I don't know, like, SDR kind of has a different perspective on this, but like, I kind of feel like it's so rare now that I feel like if someone actually took the time to call, like, it feels a little bit more special than like texting. I don't know. Texting to me kind of seems a little impersonal. But like I said, I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but it's just like the percentages are more in your favor, I feel, with a phone call or face-to-face. I've done face-to-face too at work. And that seems to work pretty well. Like some people at work have signed up with me as well. So, and then just the other huge thing is just being a product of the product, posting on your Facebook page. There's so many people who are watching that aren't liking your posts, who aren't commenting, or just like you have no clue that they're paying any sort of attention to you and what you're posting. And then randomly you'll find out that, because of you, they like decided to go run a marathon, or like they decided to start some new fitness thing, like they're eating healthy or this or that. Like I found that out through random people, like my brother had told me, like one of his friends, who's a Facebook friend of mine, started exercising. He never exercised in his life. And he said that he was inspired by me and my posts and stuff like that. Also, some random person at work came up to me and was like, what are you doing? I want to know. And what's this Shakeology you keep talking about? I had like literally no idea that this person was watching me. And he was actually someone who I had friended fairly recently. So again, like another reason to keep friending new people, because a lot of times I think when someone gets a new friend on Facebook, they'll scroll through their page, and be like, oh, what's this person up to? Or what are they about? What are they like? So, that's always a chance for some fresh eyes on your page. And so there's definitely a lot of people who are randomly watching. Like there's a lot of voyeurs, a lot of voyeuristic type of people on Facebook who will never say a thing. But they're definitely watching what you're posting. So it's making an impact one way or the other, even if you don't know it. So I would definitely say, definitely keep posting. And then, I've basically just been doing my power of three, like we kind of talked about, friending new people, trying to get some new conversations started. And sometimes even with those new conversations, like I don't try to sell anything, like especially if it's like a new friend, I don't even really mention the fitness. But sometimes those people will ask me, you know, because we just became friends. They scrolled through my page, my wall, and they looked and to see what was going on, and then they'll say, oh, that seems really cool, tell me about the 21-day fix, or what kind of workouts are you doing, and stuff like that. And so they'll kind of open up a conversation. So you know, and if they open it up, then I'm totally gonna, you know, willing to give them whatever information they need or whatever help I can give them. And if it ends up in them joining a group, that's even better. And then another huge thing is I've of course been inviting people anywhere from 3 to 5 people a day, but I actually feel like obviously that's important, but I also feel like the follow-ups are a really key thing to do. And I actually spend, I would say actually more time doing follow-ups than invites, because like people are busy, you know, like they need you to remind them. I mean, I try not to be annoying about it. Like I'll just, you know, like I'll send them one message, and if they don't respond, I'll wait a couple of days, and then maybe another week, you know. So I try not to like, you know, be annoying about it, or like too frequent about it. But you know, I think the follow-ups are actually really key, and I guess like doing it in a way that is kind of kosher, you know, like which doesn't really turn people off. And sometimes I'll also remind people, like, oh, you know, like at the end of the month, like when someone who had expressed some interest in 21-day fix, for example, in November, that was one of the sales. At the end of the month, sometimes I'll send them a message and say, hey, you know, this is only on sale for a couple more days. Would you like to get it? You know, I don't want you to miss out on the deal, on this good price that we have going on right now. And, you know, I don't know, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes creating urgency for people helps, you know, like this week I've been telling people, you know, who want to start working out at the beginning of January to make sure they get their orders in so that they get their shipment, their box, and their program in time to start in January. So that's like a really classic marketing thing that everybody does, is just creating that urgency for people to act, because, you know, a lot of people just think about it forever, and they know they want it, and you know they want it, but they're just like, I don't know, you know, people are busy. They just need like a deadline. Sometimes people just need a deadline that if I don't do it by this day, then they're going to miss out. So I think that, you know, always kind of putting that in there, especially if you get a yes, be like, you know, like I'll say, make sure you order by this day. And if they don't do it, you know, I might send them a reminder too, like a quick little reminder to do that. And another huge thing I was going to say is, like, I don't count anybody out. You know, like I think in the beginning, I felt like the only people I should invite were maybe like people who were like, who had maybe expressed something to me about wanting to lose weight in the past, or who like maybe looked overweight or out of shape. But now what's been really kind of amazing is the number of people who I always thought were like totally in shape, like really fit, like didn't need to lose any weight, who would like come to me and say, oh, I want to try out PIO, I want to try out some of the workouts you're doing and you're talking about. So, you know, like even the other day, this one lady signed up with a challenge pack for me, and I've always like thought she was super skinny. And I was like, what? You know, like, I don't know. The only reason I asked her, invited her, was because she commented on one of my posts and liked it. And I was like, I'll just see what she has to say. And she's like super skinny, but she has goals too. Like everybody has goals. She feels like out of breath when she walks up the stairs. She feels like she's not strong. Her husband does workouts, and like she'll try to do push-ups. She can't do one. She can't do any sit-ups. So her goals are to become strong, and it has nothing to do with losing weight. Like she's like, I don't want to lose weight. I just want to be fit, and I want to be strong. And so there's like skinny people out there who still need our programs, because they want to be, everyone has a goal, like whether it's nutrition, or they want to be stronger, or they want to improve their flexibility, or they want to improve their core strength. Like there have been so many people who tell me, I do not want to lose weight. I just want to learn how to eat better. I want to improve my core because I have back issues, so they're like, I wouldn't just only invite people who you think want to lose weight. Like I would just invite everyone, like anyone who seems interested in what you're posting. I would invite them, because there's actually like a program for them, that I think would help them. And even people who think that they already eat healthy, probably, I don't know if they really are. So, but I that's like, those are kind of the main things that I have to say. Was there anything else that you wanted me to touch on, Jenny?
No, I think that's awesome. I think I was just kind of taking notes as you were talking, but I think it's cool because it's nice when you listen to kind of like the things that you're saying. It's, it's the basic things that we talk about, like, starting with the baseline of personal development and doing the power of 3 and following up with people and not counting anybody out. I think those are, we hear that stuff all the time, but I think it's a good reminder that, like, even when you're first starting out, that those little things can add up really quickly. People are already asking you about what you're doing, and just from consistently posting daily, which is really cool. And I thought that was a good point at the end about not counting anybody out, because I know, like, when I first started, I didn't really get that either, but that's one of the cool things about, like, Shakeology in particular, and the nutrition focus is, like, no matter how healthy you are, like, you usually have room to improve with your nutrition. Most people in this culture do, right? Or how thin you are. So, so there's a lot of, it appeals to a lot broader audience than we sometimes realize when we first start out as coaches. So I think that was good that you brought that up. Tanya, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Can also open for questions.
I thought you did amazing. I think the thing that a lot of coaches don't realize, which you hit the nail on the head, is it's just being consistent, and it's, doing the behaviors and reaching out. And I mean, it's what breeds success. It's still the same stuff that I do today, 4 years later, is what you just talked about. I did want to ask you if you wouldn't mind posting in Team 360 the message that you send to people that like your posts. And if you wouldn't mind posting that and just putting a little note saying, this is what I send to people who like my posts. Because I think that's important. Just because people aren't commenting, it doesn't mean that they, aren't interested. I think a lot of times we wait to hear people say, oh, and you're just going for it. And that's why, you're hitting Success Club, and you're hitting, you hit Success Club 20 last month, and this month you're already at 11, because you're not afraid to just reach out and, thank people for the support. And I think that opens the door to conversation. So if you wouldn't mind posting that, I think it would be valuable for the whole team to see.
Sure. Not a problem. I'd be happy to post it. One of the other things I was actually going to say is there was just definitely a process of me coming out of my shell with this. Like I remember posting in Coach Basics with Jenny. She was like, one of our assignments was to post our story, like in terms of, our transformation story, or like our Beachbody story. And I was like really kind of freaked out about that. Like I just felt like a very private person. And like, I don't know, I just, I think like a part of me, like being a doctor, I feel like I should just keep my life personal, or like, there's so many work friends that I had friended on Facebook even prior to starting as a coach. And I was always just like cautious about what I was putting out there, because I was always just very protective of my reputation at the hospital and this and that. And I was just like, I didn't know. I don't know. I just was really scared, actually. Like I had to deal with that. And I had to like kind of overcome my fear of, posting my story. And I'm not really sure why. But I think it has a lot to do with just like being a private person. I guess kind of a little bit of a modest person too. Like I don't think I would post pictures of myself in a bikini on my Facebook page. And then to post before and afters, like some of the befores I took just for myself were like me in my sports bra. And I was like, I can't post that. So I found other pictures that I felt comfortable posting. But, you know, it was really scary for me. But the cool part was that, you know, a lot of my friends were like really happy and like amazed. And they are all really, a lot of people have been like really inspired, and I think they think it's awesome that I'm posting this stuff. And you know, that's been like kind of a really cool experience to have them like really appreciate, you know, people appreciate like what you're posting. So I don't know, it's definitely a process to get out of my shell. But it was nice to kind of be warmly received by my friends overall. You know, I'm sure there's some of my friends who are like, what is this girl talking about? Like, why does she keep talking about the same stuff? But there's been plenty of other people who've been like warmly receiving what I've been doing and posting. And, you know, one thing's kind of led to the other with that. So, yeah, but anyway, I'd be happy to post that. I think that that's a good point that you make, Tanya, that like, you know, I wouldn't respond only to people who comment, because a lot of people just scroll through Facebook quickly and they like what they like, and then only a few people will take the time to comment. But I think even just a like is enough to kind of open a conversation.
Absolutely. Now, with the coming out of your shell and being a private person, do you think that is because of doing personal development, or did you just decide, all right, I'm going all in?
I don't know. I think I actually had to post my, I posted my draft basically of what I would post in terms of my story, on the Coach Basics. And, you know, Jenny gave me great feedback, and Ciara did, and a couple of the other people in that group. So I think it just kind of helped with my confidence. You know, now that I'm reading You Are a Badass, now I look back at it and I'm like, why was I afraid? But yeah, I mean, I think personal development definitely plays in. I don't know at the moment that I did it, what I was reading, that I don't know that necessarily helped me. I think I was reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think I just decided to do it. And, you know, anyway, I think I just decided that I should be proud of my story, and that there's really nothing to hide, and it wasn't really anything that crazy, you know. It wasn't like me at like Mardi Gras or something. Or some like picture that I was like really scared to show people, but it was just basically me telling my story about, you know, how I've been an athlete most of my life, and how through Beachbody I kind of was able to return to being an athlete again, you know, or feeling like an athlete, you know, just kind of getting my strength back and getting my body back after having a baby, after having 2 kids and stuff like that. So it wasn't really anything that I should have been so scared of, but I think there was definitely a moment, and Coach Basics helped me out, and Jenny helped me out with that. And, you know, I think that all kind of played in.
I think we lost Tanya. Yeah, I agree. I think I was going to say, I think that comment or sending messages to people that like your posts is a really good point, actually, because it's good for when you're first starting out and you're like, it's hard to get out of your shell as it is. So that's kind of like a good place to start, because you have a point of conversation and you know they don't totally hate what you're doing, or else they wouldn't have liked it. So that's like a good group of people to start with. So I think that's smart. I want to open it up. I'm going to unmute everybody, so if you don't want to talk, just mute yourself. But if anyone else has any questions or things they wanted to, us to talk about a little bit more in the last couple minutes here, so and just mute yourself if you don't want to talk. Anybody have any questions or comments to add?
I'll talk. I always talk. I always have something to say. I just want to say great job for your first call. I know you were probably intimidated or scared, or probably, you know, just like you're talking about your first post. I am every time I do one. So you did a great job, and I really liked your information. I think that when you're thinking about posting those transformation pictures, people get hung up on that. And I think one thing to remember is sometimes the pictures that that the emotion, not the promotion, right? So the emotion is what really attracts people. So they might stop reading because of the picture, or stop to read because of the picture, but they actually read it because of the picture. They read, but the reason they would sign with you is because of what you say. So the picture is just to grab their attention. And one thing I've had coaches do before is like, or even people in my challenge groups, is to post like a body part they're proud of. Like, it doesn't even have to be your whole body in a bikini, right? It can be like, look at this picture in a tank top, and this one, I can't believe how much better my arms look. Or like one time I did one with my face, a close up of from my bikini pictures, but cut off to just my face. And that was like drastically, that was probably the biggest thing for me, was the difference in my face more than anything else in my pictures, because I looked so depressed and sad and bloated. And when you look at the picture as a whole, you're just like, oh, look, she lost her stomach, or she looks smaller, and that's great. But then even that same picture repurposed to cut to my face it just blew my mind, that part. And I think that so even if people aren't comfortable doing like what you were saying, you know, like, and maybe you don't want to be more modest, or maybe you're just not there yet as far as like wanting to put it out there. Like for me, I didn't really have a choice, because I won that challenge and they were all over the internet, and that was the end of that. So I had to kind of get over it. But it wasn't like intentionally like, let's just put this out there right away. But I don't know. I think that's a good point. And I also liked when you said about not counting anyone. Well, you said people have surprised you, but I think that's a huge thing, is to not count anyone out. I had like one of the varsity athletes from high school, popular, pretty, teeny, adorable, and I had seen her like 3 weeks before in the store, and she's like a size 0 and she looks perfect. And she joined my group because she was self-conscious about her abs, and she envied my abs, even though I weighed 50 pounds more than her. So, you know, like when she messaged me and said, well, tell me about this T25 group you have, I was like, all right, what? And that was a huge lesson to me, though, and I always try and remember that. She only did my group for 3 months, but she got the abs she wanted, and she was dating a politician, so she couldn't share it, and I couldn't share it with anyone. But she's sent me this message like of her in a bikini on a boat in the summer, and she said, thank you so much, I really love you right now. And I'm just like, that moment, you know, I almost didn't even, I never messaged her. That's the thing. And that was like a slap in my face. I was like, I'm lucky she thought to message me because of my posting, but I would have never thought to message her, because to me, she had it, you know, all together. I just think that's valuable information, and definitely don't hesitate. In fact, one time Tanya posted like a challenge, like everyone who needs to invite 10 people by tonight, and you know, and I was like, okay, well, I have 5 minutes on my lunch break left, and I'm at the hospital, and I went to letter N and invited 10 from the letter N. I didn't even care who they were. I just messaged. Actually, they were all women, but I did skip them in. But I just went, okay, bam, 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 sent 10 messages. I think I got 2 challenge packs off that. Maybe I should do that letter L today. You know, you never know. So I think that was good info. So great job.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. I mean, even the other day, this lady messaged me, and I don't actually know her. She's just somebody from this mom group, but she was like, I'm genetically blessed. I have like everything great for me. The only thing I want is 6-pack abs. And I was like, are you serious? You're like seriously writing this? Like, I couldn't believe that anyone thought like that amazingly of themselves, but good for her, you know? But
yeah,
but she still wanted to do hammer and chisel. I was like, well, that's what my plan is to get a 6-pack. Is I'm gonna go for hammer and chisel. Do you want to do it with me? And she might. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, even people who think they're perfect still have something that they want to work on. You know, like, and there's very few people who really think that there's nothing that they need to work on.
It goes both ways. I had someone 350 pounds tell me that she was interested in just buying the workout program to do on the weekends because her nutrition was already 100%. Pretty sure not. No offense, but 350 pounds is a little, maybe not perfect, but she just went on and on about how clean she eats and how nutrition's never been a problem. So you know, there's only so much you can do with some people, but whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want to say sorry. My phone completely dropped. I'm hiding out in the car and didn't realize that how much the Zoom app sucked my battery dry.
It's not the best app. I
No, it's probably my second time ever using it, and probably my last.
Yeah.
Not my favorite.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Archana? I know there's a couple people on the phone. You guys all good?
Great job. I loved this call.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, and I like that like I said, it's just that it seems obvious, but I think they're, it's like this, it's kind of like the slight edge, like you talked about, right? It's like easy things to do. They sound so easy, but they're easy to also not do, like the personal development and posting all the time, and that's how you build that traction. So, yeah, I think that's awesome. Anybody else? I don't want to have us go too long either, because I know with Christmas, everyone's crazy busy. But yeah, I guess, did you have anything else, Archana, before I kind of close out the call?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think just, I just got to go for it and, just keep trying. And, I think Ciara and I talked about this once, but just going for like a win-win, and this is one of the personal development things that did come into play quite a few times, especially when I was getting like a lot of no's from people. That's something they talk about in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is, something that's a win for me is that if it's not a win for the other person, like in terms of like it's going to work for them, then I don't really want it. I don't want it to be a win-lose, like where it's not a win for them. If they're not really wanting to be in the challenge group, or if they feel like this is just not right for them, I'm just like okay with that, because I don't want people in the group feeling like, especially if it's like friends or family, like feeling like they're obligated to do something when it's not really working for them, or it's not the right time for them, or whatever it may be. So, I'm kind of willing to just go for like a win-win where they're happy about it and I'm happy about it. And, I think that's kind of like one of the things that I always keep coming back to. And another huge thing that I learned from Jenny was just kind of like trying to understand the person and where they're coming from. Like first seeking to understand them. That was, there's totally a light bulb moment one time when I was initially inviting people. I would just kind of like talk to them and just tell them all my information, but never really getting like what they needed. And once I started to first seek from them, their information in terms of like trying to understand where they're coming from and what their needs are, what their goals are first, before I even tried to say, try this program, or, you might like this program. Those are like 2 huge things that I learned from personal development and kind of reinforced by Jenny in terms of like kind of first seeking to understand the person before you try to offer them anything, or, like asking them in terms of like, I guess by that, the questions I ask are, what are your goals? How's your nutrition? What's motivating you? Those are like 3 important questions I try to ask like pretty early on in the conversation. And so that they feel like I know where they're coming from before I try to, get them to join a challenge group or try to figure out what program would be a fit for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end too, because it comes back to the whole business, which is about relationships and not just like, okay, someone wants to join my challenge group and I'm going to text them and tell them the price and they're going to sign up. It doesn't really work that way. At the end of the day, you have to get them on the phone or, dig into where they're coming from. So I think that's like a good place. Yeah. And Amanda's just texting you, what's motivating you? Yep. Exactly. So getting into their motivation. And then I guess I'll just say as a reminder to everyone, so I was just talking about this before we started recording, but I've been hearing crickets all month and it's totally picking up now. Like the last 2 days, everyone is coming out of the woodwork and they're wanting to buy their programs for their New Year's resolutions. So, and they're going to have Christmas money like Friday. So, and they're going to spend it. So you got to this is like the week to really like dig in and build and keep posting so that over the weekend you can really, talk to people and get them set up with a program so they can be ready to start. So I would just say kind of take some of these tips and start using them right away, because I think things are really going to pick up now. So, all right, everyone have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great call.